Hello, welcome to a March for the Ages. I'm Khinara Jackson from Jefferson Davis High School, and our guest today is Miss Pearlie Johnson. Hello, Miss Pearlie Johnson.
Hi.
So, I was wondering, have you performed in any movements other than the march as far as helping promote civil rights?
Where I've worked with the voter registrars and trying to get people to vote, and still is doing that. Trying to, get my young people involved in becoming registered voters, because I feel like it's very important that the young and the old become registered voters, because at this time you have a right to speak out. But if you're not a registered voter, well then you don't have that right.
Yeah.
So I think it's very important that everyone becomes a registered voter and you have a voice in the different things that's going on in the city and state.
Well, in history we hear about Dr. King and Miss Rosa Parks. Has there been anyone in your life you feel has been more of a personal hero to you, who has led you to be an activist and make a difference?
I would say my grandmother.
Really?
She was, she was the quiet type. And as I go back and think about when I was a child, she was always there to encourage me to do different things. And what stands out in my mind, really stands out in my mind, is that when I was 8 years old, that we were going through Cresses, HL Cresses on Dexter Avenue, and we went to the, they had two fountains, two marble fountains. I never will forget them. And I wanted a drink of water, and they had on the sign, one in front of one fountain it was white, and on the other fountain it was colored. And I often wonder, when you say color, you think maybe white or blue or green or what. So that's what I was expecting to come out of the fountain, was a colored water. So one day we were there, and a white guy turned on the fountain, and the water came out white, clear, like the water I drank at home. Then when I turned my fountain on, it came out the same color, and I was wondering why you would say white and colored, So she said, oh, it will be okay. It's not going to be this way always. You just, have to be patient and wait. It's not going to be this way. Might not be in my day, but it was surely come in your day. So she was really my inspiration to really make me, encourage me to struggle on whatever was going on in life, and to take a part in things that I felt was right.
And in taking a part, is that why you became part of the voter registration?
Voter registration. That's why I wanted to, when we were able to vote. I had to stand in line several times, go and come, until I got it right. But eventually I was granted the right to vote. So I feel like that is very important to our young people, is to become registered voters. Not only the young, the old, and in between too. It's very important.
I'm sorry.
Because you have a right. That's your right. That's your God-given right, is to vote. And if you don't do that, then you're throwing your right away. Telling the people that died and suffered for you to have this right, you're telling them, I don't like it, I don't want it, I don't appreciate it, because you're not becoming registered voters. So I feel like we need to really become registered voters.
Do you feel that being able to vote is the most significant change, or do you feel that something else has come around that has made all of this all more worth the fight?
Well, I feel like the voter registers have a lot to do with it. It's very important, because without the right to vote, you're silent. You're very silent. But if you don't like something that's going on, you can vote against it. Where it has been times you just had to accept it. So now the voter rights give you the opportunity to say, I don't like it, I don't want it, and I can vote it out.
And then we are said to have reached equality. Where do you think we're lacking in that area, as far as being equal as as male and female, and then as African Americans and Caucasians?
Well, I feel like that as African Americans, we've come a long way, but we still have a long way to go. You know, we still, in some areas, I feel like we're still not equally treated. You know, so I still say we have a long ways to go. We've come a long way, but we still got a long ways to go.
What do you think is the next step as far as equality? Where do you think we're going from here?
Well, I really don't know where we're going, you know, going from now. I can't say, you know, we're going to point A or point B, but I still think some change is going to come.
And then what do you think is probably the most significant change that you've seen as far as from where you started as a kid to now? What do you think's been the most impactful to you?
Well, I feel like I have that we have come a long way, because there has been times that I couldn't go to Oak Park and sit out on the benches. So now I can go to Oak Park. I can have a picnic with my family, with my grandchildren. So that's one of the things that we've come to, because it's been so many times I couldn't go there.
And then we were talking earlier about how things were back then and the car rides. Can you tell me about that?
Yes, we had people, you know, we marched for 381 days. We marched. We didn't ride the bus. We only had car transportation. And we had a place that the Congress people would meet to catch the bus, the cars, to get a ride. We had a certain stop in town that people would go and wait for rides. And the churches played a great part in this, because all different churches had station wagons or cars. They would go, their pastor from the pulpit would urge them to go and share that particular car or station wagon with them. And my church also had a station wagon. Reverend Albert Sanders at that time was my pastor, and I think he liked it to talk anyway, so he enjoyed meeting and greeting the people. And in this book here, that his picture is in this Ebony magazine book, that where he's standing waiting to get his station wagon filled with people, so he could go and take them home or wherever, you know, they needed to go. In
the areas, Dr. Martin Luther King was always around. I mean, even when you were waiting for your bus, you would see him. How did it feel to be so close to the man who would make such a difference in our world?
It was just exciting. It was very exciting, because the first time I saw him was at the Hope Street Baptist Church, and he just really made a great impact on my life. You know, the things and the speeches that he was saying and the words that he was saying, they were really true, and it just really made a great impact on my life.
Is there anything you wanted to say to him, like if you would have ever gone up to him and said anything, what would you have said?
I would have said thank you for standing up for us as black people. I really would have said that to him, because he really stood up for what was right. He felt like when Moses was speaking for the children of Israel, he stood up and told Pharaoh to let his people go. So in essence, Reverend King was saying the same thing to the leaders, to free our people and let them have a right to vote, let them have an opportunity to sit down on a bus. They have worked for you all day long. Now they're going home and they got to stand up where there are seats available. I can't sit down on them. So I really would have applauded him for saying those things and for doing what he did.
And then seeing our old activists, you know, Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks, even Malcolm X, how do you think we're doing now as far as having representation for rights and civil rights even? So.
Well, today, you know, I still think we have rights, and some of our rights are being, you know, used, and some of them are kind of cast to the side.
And then, other than racism, are there any other social issues that you see in society today that we could work on?
No, I could see that we really need more schools integrated. To me, when I look at it, the schools, you don't have as many blacks in the schools as that representing civil rights. Because you look at it on TV, you maybe have 2 or 3 or 4 blacks in a class of maybe 6 or 8 or 10, 20 whites. So I think we need to really work on that, because I feel like that's not equal. To me, equal 10 and 10 will be 20. So I feel like if you're going to have 10 white kids, you should have 10 black kids. You know, that's the way I see it.
And then, what was it like going to school and seeing, maybe even being somewhere and being the only African American there? I mean, how did that feel?
Well, it feels, to me, it feels good, because I've gone to several places and I'm the only black face in the crowd, So it feels good to me, because there had been times that I couldn't even show my face.
Really?
See, I wasn't a part of certain things. So I've gone a lot of places, even today, that I'm the only black in that group, So I feel great about that.
And looking back, do you think there's anything that you would have done different or done instead of, to help make a change?
No, I can't think of it right now. But I just thank God that he sent Martin Luther King to speak for me and for my people.
And even in the lessons, we hear all about the great leaders, but it really is people like you who make a difference. I mean, do you think if it was just Dr. King and Rosa Parks, do you think we would be where we are today if it wasn't for people like you standing up next to them, helping them out?
No, I don't think, I think that together we stand, and we're strong as we stand together. But when we are separated or divided, we're not as strong. I remember sitting at the table, breakfast table, with my 4 children one day, and it just dawned on me to get the matches, the long matches that you like. And I put them together and gave each one of them, passed it around for them to try and break those 4 matches together, okay? It was hard for them to do it. But when I singled it out and gave each one of them a match apiece, they could break it easy. My point to them was, you stronger together than you are apart. So I feel like with Rosa Parks and Reverend King, without the people, they wouldn't have been as strong. Working with them, supporting them in everything that they did, So that's the way I feel about it.
And then teens today, we seem to overlook history lessons almost like they're nothing. What do you think we should be looking for in all the movements and all the lessons? What do you think we should take from them?
In each movement, there was a lesson that we could learn from each thing, and don't try to learn. I've learned in life. I go to a lot of churches and different things. I can't remember everything that was said in that meeting, but I pick out 1 or 2 main points, and I apply it to my life. So I figured that, the young people should do that too. I mean, they can't remember everything that went on, but you can pick out the important things and apply that in your everyday life. And I think it would help you much better.
Well, thank you for talking with me today.
Thank you for having me. I just enjoyed it, being here with you. And young people are my hearts. I just love young people.
And I've loved your stories, learned so much more than any classroom could ever teach me just from talking to you, honestly.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
All right. And this has been A March for the Ages. I'm Khinara Jackson with Miss Pearlie Johnson, and we'll see you next time.